This is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you, man, I'm tired of being right. Welcome in. We are live here on this Monday, back in the saddle after a mini vacation day, and a wonderful weekend it was for me. More on that in a moment. Appreciate you guys starting your Monday with A to Z. Of course, follow us on Twitter at Locked On ATL. You can follow me at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. Great to be back with you guys. Huge thanks to John Michaels for stepping in on Friday while I was on vacation. Had a golf weekend with some friends, really good buddies of mine who we've done this every year for the last 7+ years. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of time out on the golf course, a lot of cold ones, and certainly good to be back in the saddle. But I come back here on this Monday to a Braves team that's above 500. Now, I don't want to do the victory lap yet, right? Because, well, it's possible, and I mean it is possible that, they can lose a game here or there and still fall below 500. But, what I did tell you, the date I set on the wall, and I said this way back in the beginning of May. I want to go back and pull the tape, but I said it back in the beginning of May that June 15th was the date on the calendar. And I remember looking at the series where they had, it was the beginning of May, 3 versus Milwaukee. They were 12-15 at the time. They had 3 versus Milwaukee, 2 versus Boston, and 3 versus San Diego. And I kept telling you, look, if they could take 6 out of 8 here in these 8 home games during this homestand, they'll be above 500. I think they'd be there to stay. Well, that didn't happen. But I still had the date of June 15th really being on the wall after they finish up the series with the Washington Nationals as the day where they would be above 500 and stay there for the rest of the season. Now, I talked about the teams that they were playing: Arizona, Colorado, Oakland, Pittsburgh, and Washington, all really bad teams, and they could take advantage. So it looks like they started to do that. And really, over this 5-game win streak, the Braves have really started to do the little things you need to do to win ball games. Of course, they've won 2 extra inning games. That certainly helps. But they finish up the Arizona series with a 6-0 win. They scored 13 runs in the first series against Colorado. They get a 2-run win against Colorado in extras in the first game. And then, of course, the explosion in the 11th inning on Saturday and a big 8-7 win yesterday. So, I mean, this has all worked out quite nicely. And now they're going to come up against this Oakland A's team that, well, frankly, and of course they have the day off today, but frankly is bad. They're struggling. They're 16 games below 500 and 20-36, and they haven't been very good on the road this year. That said, the Braves are starting to put it together, and where we are right now with this team is starting to feel a little bit better. I think over the next 6 games, 4-2 or better is the only acceptable answer. Especially against Pittsburgh with a 4-game series against those guys coming up. But being 28-27 and above 500 for the, first or second time this year was it? I think they were above 500 real briefly at one point earlier in the year. I'm looking right now. They were 2-1 against Cincinnati, and that was it. So here they are, regardless. But they go 4-2 over the next 6 games. At worst, and I would expect them not to drop one against Oakland. And 4-game series are hard to sweep, especially when you just did it. So, nonetheless, but you look at the final, 9 games that they got here: 2 against Oakland, 4 against Pittsburgh, and 3 against Washington. 6-3 is where they should be when it's done. And like I said, at that point in time, you're 34-30, and there's no reason to look back. And that's where we would be. And then that's when I'll take the victory lap. On the show, when we get to Thursday, June 16th, that's when I'll take the victory lap. So we got a week from Thursday is when the victory lap comes in. And I'm not going to do it before that, because I don't want to do too much celebrating and then having to walk it back and get my foot stuck in my mouth. Not my deal. But this is a Braves team right now that is starting to look like they are capable of, continuing to win games at this clip. And you're starting to look at the batting average numbers of certain guys and everything else. I mean, hey, don't look now. For as bad as Dansby was in the beginning of the year, guess what? He's leading the team with a 274 batting average at this point in time. I mean, who would have thought it? Now, Acuna, again, is batting over 300, but he doesn't have enough at-bats to qualify due to his injury. That's always great. As long as he continues to hit that way at the top of the lineup, things are going to be better. Love to see Matt Olson get back up in the high 280s range. I mean, he sort of really had a struggling May after a really good April. But they need to get him back going again. Love to see some more pop from Adam Duvall, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's really it. I mean, other than that, Ozzy could get on base a little more. His 291 OBP probably is a little bit disconcerting at this point in time. He needs to have a higher on base percentage. More walks, less strikeouts would be really nice for him, especially for a guy who's that fast, only has 3 stolen bases on the year. There's more to be done there. There's more to be done. But let this thing continue to evolve. And that's really what I think the main message and the main takeaway here is that this should continue to evolve for the Braves, and they should start to get better on a routine basis, day in and day out, game in and game out, and just start to look a little bit more like the team that won the World Series last year. When they start to do that, things are going to settle in quite nicely for this team going forward. And I'll do one more set of forecasting here, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But what happens after June 15th, and where are they from a schedule standpoint to the All-Star break? It's not going to get easy. They'll play the Cubs, right? But then they see a series of 10 games against the San Francisco Giants, really good. Los Angeles Dodgers, really good. Philadelphia Phillies, division opponent that's going to be very, very tough. You get a 3-game break with Cincinnati, who's still better than you think, and then a 4-game series against St. Louis. And that is really where you could get in trouble. That's where you just want to get through that next stretch of, 12 games or so, 14 games, 500. That's fine. That's fine. It really is. Like, don't overthink it. Don't try to overcomplicate it. And then you'll finish up with a total of 10 between the Nationals and the Mets before the end of the first half of the season. So that's where they go. They're going to have this easy stretch finishing up here, essentially with Chicago right after the National Series. But then it's San Francisco, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, St. Louis. That's going to be a tough run. And I know, again, you're starting to say Cincinnati's not as bad as they started out this year. Trust me. And their record continues to get better. After a 3-21 start, I think they're 13-3 since then, or 15-3, something like that. I got to double check the exact numbers. Point is, they are really, really good. No, I shouldn't say that. They are better than what we think they are. So let's just get to June 15th and see what happens from there. All right, coming up next, the Atlanta Hawks better act fast, because not only do they have a challenge in front of them, they've got a challenge going on around them as well. That's next right here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast, you search Locked On Sports Atlanta. We'll be right back.